During Black History Month, our Veterans in Focus tonight spotlights on the first blacks to serve our country. One of them connected right here to Corpus Christi. But many of these soldiers served at a time where they felt more pride fighting for their country than actually living in it.
I was fighting to keep your kids, my kids, and grandkids didn't have to go through what I went through.
Horace Williams remembers the mistreatment.
And they treated us like devils.
From those he fought for after returning home from Vietnam.
I thought we earned that right to be treated right until I got back home.
It's something he shares in common with other black soldiers who also served on the battlefield 100 years earlier. One of those soldiers, George Owens, buried right here at Old Bayview Cemetery in Corpus Christi. After a tour of duty in the Civil War, Owens and other former slaves enlisted in the all-black military regiment of the Buffalo Soldiers.
I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside.
Horace Williams feels a connection to those Buffalo Soldiers, so much so he portrays them in reenactments.
So I took two of my horses out there.
He reveals the time that George Owens and other black soldiers actually got paid and were insured rights that were banned in southern states at the time.
He got his freedom. By joining the army, he got his freedom.
But when they left military service and returned to society, Owens and others had fewer rights.
Seeing a black man in a blue uniform, it was frowned upon in Texas.
It wasn't until the late 1860s and 70s before they were even granted citizenship and allowed to vote. Despite that, Buffalo soldiers fought with honor in the Indian Wars and protected travelers along the way.
They actually were the first peace officers in Texas.
They also installed new roads, telegraph wires, and railroad tracks, even delivered the mail.
These men who met every criteria of the ideal soldier.
Historian Dr. Norman Delaney says that Owens' elite regiment of the Buffalo Soldiers helped Americans win the West, with some of the bravest troops leading the way.
Imagine 11 members of that one African-American unit received the Congressional Medal of Honor. Many other blacks also, during the Civil War and afterward, received that prestigious medal for courageous actions during combat.
Even with those accolades, the military was still segregated for 50 more years.
This here right here, the first black folks on.
And as strides have been made since then for equality in military ranks, Williams believes there's still more work to be done and even more history to be told, especially to younger audiences.
I let them know by explaining the uniform to them, explaining how the culture for black people was back in the day. So it gave me a good feeling there. Down by the riverside, I'm gonna lay down my burden. Down by the riverside, study war no more.
I spent about 3 hours with Horace Williams this past week. I could spend the entire day with him. And you could see Horace Williams and participants in person as they provide historic reenactments every November at the Old Bayview Cemetery here in Corpus Christi. The event is sponsored by the Voices of South Texas.